going to take you through the potting soil that I have. Some of it's pretty good and some of it's pretty bad, and I'll show you why. But I've been having a lot of trouble finding just regular good potting soil to start seeds and cuttings with. This Pro Mix stuff, it's pretty darn good. If you look inside, grab a handful, you can tell it's still pretty moist, and this bag's been open for weeks. Now if you take a look at something like this, if you buy it and bring it home and it's just dry as a bone like that, take it back. And if you can't find potting soil right out of the bag, because this is, you know, this good potting soil that I really like is it's only a cubic foot, and that's really not a lot for what I'm doing. I picked up vermiculite, and you can mix that into the soil. You can see this is really wet, and that's super absorbent, and it holds moisture for quite a long time. So you do want something that stays wet, and this is exactly why. You can see the little dead cutting there still. I did a lot of cuttings, and these cells are pretty small, but it should stay wet. And I was having trouble, so they dry out, and then I'd have to try and get some water in here, and they'd be overwatered, and the plants would just rot and fall over. This is what's left of a nice flat of cuttings. Over here, I bought a new flat with the coconut pellets that came with it. I've tried coconut before, and I really like it. And I watered this days ago, and it's doing pretty good. It's still wet, except for that one little cell. He needs some water. This coconut stuff, these were pellets. You can buy the pellets in a garden center. I've also gone to the pet store and found bricks of coconut for usually for your snake cage, because it's a good bedding for snakes. And that worked too. That worked really well, especially mixed with a little bit of potting soil. And one last thing that I'm going to be recreating in this video is a self-watering system. This was gifted to me by a neighbor. It's one of those burpee self-watering systems. So you've got your bottom flat. Take this off. And underneath here you've got a riser, and this is called a capillary mat. It hangs over into the edge and sucks up the water, and it's like a wick, and it spreads the water across, and it feeds it through the holes and up through the bottom of the cells, and these are doing really good. I didn't ever water this. I filled the water once. It took a couple days to suck up and water all of the cells before I started putting my cuttings in there, but after that I haven't touched it. It's been weeks and I have not touched it. So I'm gonna try and make these are 20 bucks in the store, so I'm gonna try to make one. I've done some research online and just with stuff that's laying around, see if it works. And here are my plans for a self-watering tray. Here I've got plastic flat bottoms with no holes. Those cost about $1. Then I got the cells that go in them. Those a couple bucks at the store. You need a riser. Yeah, just snag that out of the garage. And well, obviously you need something that can hold all of these on here. So I think a piece of plywood, but it's kind of cold outside and I don't feel like cutting plywood right now. So just super thick banana box from Aldi's. It's a pretty thick box. So I'll cut this out and put it on top. And then I read an article. I was looking for alternatives to the capillary mats. And one guy in his greenhouse, he just used newspaper. And I'll give you the link to that with all the benefits of why using newspaper was good for him. And I'll be updating the video to show you if it works or not. Okay. 2x4s back in. Piece of box on top. And it don't fit. Oh. Okay, now it fits pretty good. And then I'll put the newspaper in and wet it. I'll try 2 little sections here. I'll have to cut this too. But it fits the long way. Let's cut it to fit the short way. Okay. Put one section in. So it can be a wick from one end. And then I'll get the other section in from this end. Now, I gotta mix up some good potting soil and get it in these cells. And I'll add some water before I do that, so I can start the wick process. Don't spill the water all over the floor. So I filled the tray about halfway with water, and I made sure there was enough newspaper hanging over the edge so that it would hang into the water and keep this consistently moist. Like I said, you want to start with good potting soil, because if you had some pretty good potting soil that held absorbency well enough, then you probably wouldn't need the elevated trays. But I don't kind of really want to ever water them ever, so I just want them to grow and watch them grow. But I mean, this is what I have, and it's junk, so I can fix this. I mean, I could easily go and get some Miracle-Gro, but it's just not. I haven't since winter, and I haven't seen anything really good in the store. So I'll take this junky dry stuff get it all broken up. And then add some of the good stuff. And it's just kind of an extender, basically, because there's not a lot in this bag. And what I'm really going for is even moisture. So there's food. There's food in both of these. There's a sea-based compost in this one. Sure, there might be food in here too, but and then I'm probably gonna feed them anyway, feed the plants with a liquid fertilizer, fish fertilizer. So even that little bit of the good stuff is giving this a nice moist consistency. And then to really go all the way, I'm going to add some vermiculite. And I've seen bags of vermiculite for $24 for 4 cubic feet. That's a huge bag. I don't think this is very coarse vermiculite. Somebody's calling. It looks pretty fine. And the stuff that I see is for sale for horticultural uses is crazy. It's always crazy around here. This is pretty fine, and I've seen it. Like, it's more flaky, but it works. Look, nobody's ever added water to that. It came in the bag that way. So this is fine vermiculite. I've heard that it holds moisture better. So maybe that's the difference. I'm not sure. It probably all works. Put a little more. That's pretty good. Start filling my cells. Okay, so let's put the cells on the newspaper and give it a day or two and see what happens. I've never actually tried this before with newspapers, so it's a good experiment. We'll find out. It's pretty crafty.